Well, it's so great to meet you, Didier. It's long overdue, I should say. I'm a big fan of Olive Farms, big fan of what you're doing. I think I even wrote about you guys in the
Oh,
past, if I'm not mistaken.
mhm.
Yeah. Okay. So I know you're busy. I want to be respectful of your time. Super grateful that you took the time to do this for us at Champel Capital. And I'm going to jump right in. So, if you can give us a little bit of your background, I guess professionally and personally, and how you got to where you are today and what led to Olive Farms, just give me the backstory.
Mhm. I studied food engineering and biology in France before moving to Israel 20 years ago. Also studied at the business school in Paris, named Subdeco Paris. And my primary driver for learning food engineering was to tackle the issue of malnutrition in the world, especially in the developing world. Following the completion of my studies, I moved to Africa, to Western Africa, as part of the IFC, International Finance Corporation, which is a branch of the World Bank. And then I decided to move to Israel, where I continued to work on food engineering as a researcher. And then moving for a relatively long period of time into the medical device industry, where I also co-founded and managed different startups. I used to serve as the CEO of IceCure Medical, which went public in 2016, and then NFT Spine, which have been acquired in 2016. IceCure 2010, sorry, and NFT Spine 2016. And that's the time when I met the Strauss Group and the Kitchen Hub, and we decided to team up. And I joined them in starting Aleph Farms as a cultivated meat company. At the time, the concept was completely weird still and was, sci-fi. And it sounded something impossible. And since then, 5 years later, we see quite a lot of traction in the space and a lot of interest from consumers and investors. So it's a great satisfaction to see the traction that this new approach for producing meat has gained over the course of the last few years.
Yeah. So it's as you're saying, it's a very saturated market, but you guys are doing it very differently. I know there are other companies attacking this problem from a different angle, but could you just give me a high level overview for those watching? What is Aleph Farms exactly?
Of course. First, cultivated meat is a new production method for meat, and it's not a substitute to meat, such as, for instance, Beyond Meat or Impossible Foods might be, which are plants which are processed to resemble meat. We don't do that. We stick to the meat we know, but we change its production process. And the way we do that is by analyzing the exact phenomenon, the natural phenomenon for cells inside the animal's body to divide and to arrange themselves into a three-dimensional muscle tissue, which is meat, inside the cow. In our case, the Aleph Farms, we focus on beef. And we are able to isolate the cells and to transfer them into a controlled system outside of the animal's body, which replicates the same physical and nutritional conditions so that the cells continue to divide and form the same muscle tissue outside the animal. We do provide the cells with a matrix which is equivalent to the extracellular matrix in the body. In the body, in nature, it's made of collagen, which is an animal-based protein. In our case, we have no animal inputs except for the cells themselves. So we replace collagen with the plant-based proteins. So that's a scaffold, which is provided as a support for the cells to align and to develop into the shape of the actual meat. And that way we can produce a meat which incorporates the same building blocks of the meat we know today, but within 3 to 4 weeks instead of 2 to 3 years. When we use the animal to produce the meat, with a fraction of the resources, we can reduce the land required by 98%, water by 78%. Today, 15,000 liters overall are required to produce 1 single kilogram of meat, which is difficult to catch even. We can drastically reduce the greenhouse gas emissions. 7.8% of the global greenhouse gas emissions are associated with the livestock industry. Aleph Farms has been the first and only company in the space to pledge for carbon neutrality by 2025. And on top of that, we can also produce our meat without any antibiotics, without any contaminations, no listeria, no E. coli, and no salmonella, because the meat grows in a sterile environment, no zoonotic diseases. And last but not least, we also avoid the animal welfare issues associated with the industrial farming, with the concentrated operations for cattle farming.
Wow.
And what makes Aleph Farms unique in this new space? First, there is no product in the market yet. I mean, there had been one preliminary product approved last year in Singapore, which is currently sold on limited scale. So it's not yet a full commercialization. There will be more products launched into the marketplace in Asia and the US in the next, I believe, couple of years. Europe might start maybe a bit later. The regulatory process in Europe is a bit longer. And what makes Aleph Farms unique in this emerging industry is the combination of natural cells. We don't perform genetic engineering, no immortalization on the cells, meaning we use cells which have an identical genetic material as the cells you can find inside the animal. We focus on quality meat, meaning whole muscle meat and whole cuts, steaks, and reproducing the different dimensions of quality of the meat we know, and not just processed food or hamburgers. And the third, we also have developed a unique production platform to drive the cost down and reach a cost parity within 5 years from initial launch. We expect to have a first launch toward the end of next year.
Wow. Wow. First of all, you made me very hungry. When do I get to taste it? How does it taste?
You will love it. The taste is great. And that's one of the advantages of cultivated meat versus plant-based. And when you process, let's say, soy to make it look, feel, taste like meat, you need to neutralize the taste of the soy first, and then to add a lot of additives and processing to replicate as closely as possible the texture, taste, flavor, color of meat.
Right.
So the closer you would like to get to the sensory properties of meat, the highest the level of processing. And wow. You can never get exactly to the same sensation, the same experience, because that there is in meat a unique set of molecules which are, for instance, unique volatile amino acids, which are the result of the breakdown of the collagen. There are unique lipids, the hemoglobin and myoglobin, the iron, the unique form of which you can find in animals, which you can't find in plants. So there's a certain point to which you can get with plant-based meat replacement products. With cultivated meat, we get all those building blocks built into the process, so that we can get to the same sensation much better with much less processing.
Right. Amazing. I'm looking forward to tasting it. Okay, so I know we're very short on time, so just a couple more questions. In general, take a step back, kind of give me your thoughts on the food and agriculture industry in general and how we'll see them evolve over the next 5 years. What are some changes we can expect to see?
Yeah, we believe that the food ecosystem will go through significant changes over the course of the next 5 to 10 years. First, we see much more technology involved within food, and a lot of convergence between, on one hand, data and farming, and on the other hand, biotech and food. And at Aleph Farms, we rely on some technologies that have been originally developed for regenerative medicine. And just because we need to innovate in order to meet the objectives of this food ecosystem transition, which are currently on the table and are promoted both by the states and by the larger corporations for a transition toward a more sustainable and resilient food system. And the innovation will be implemented at 2 different levels. One is what we call incremental innovation, which is about improving the existing production systems, making, for instance, the production of crops more efficient in terms of water resource, for instance, with precision farming, and incorporating sensors to detect exactly how much water is needed, detect early different diseases in order to treat them on time and to reduce the amount of pesticide or other additives to the field. And beside this incremental innovation, we'll see more what we call transformational innovation. Transformational innovation is about new production systems, not making the existing systems more efficient, but developing new systems for producing food. Cultivated meat is part of this new category of innovation. But we see other approaches such as, for instance, algae-based agriculture, which is developing also quickly, insect-based. We see more and more insects involved in different aspects of agriculture.
Right.
Aquaculture, which is evolving also very quickly. Different approaches based on fungi and fermentation to produce different types of food, which are new ways to produce food. And the combination of both incremental innovation and transformational innovation can together bring the whole system to a state where the food industry will be just for the different stakeholders and will be inclusive for the different players involved, including the farmers and the consumers, of course, and the food companies, but primarily reach its goals in terms of sustainability, regenerating the soils, reducing greenhouse gases, and the resilience of the supply chain and food security and ability to provide high quality nutrition for anyone, anytime, and anywhere, which is at the core of Aleph Farm's vision.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, so I just want to ask one more question. It's a big question, though. I want to talk about Aleph Farm. So first of all, you guys were in the news recently. Tell me a little bit about your investors.
Mm-hmm. At Aleph Farms, we really put a focus on picking the right partners for building the company and the category on the longer term. And as a leader in this new industry of cultivated meat, we do see a big responsibility on our shoulders as a company to really build the category right. And for that, we need to pick the right partners. And the last round we have announced includes both relatively large food corporations, food and meat players. And this is part of our strategy for integrating the existing food ecosystem and driving this transition from within in partnership and hand in hand with the existing stakeholders as part of a more system-based and inclusive transition. Second, we also have states which invested in Aleph Farms. We have two sovereign funds, one from the UAE, the Emirates, and one from Singapore. Desktop AD, which is part of ADQ and Temasek. And this level of interest from those countries where food security is a critical challenge is for us a validation of the thesis according to which cultivated meat will be a cornerstone of this new secure food system, especially in the Middle East and in Asia, where most of the meat and beef is imported. And we've seen this issue being more and more crucial over the course of the last couple of years with the COVID pandemic. Third, we also had a large financial partners joining us. The round has been co-led by L. Catterton, which is the largest consumer-focused private equity firm in the world, plus three institutional investors from different continents, would have the ability to really support the build-up of Aleph Farms in the long term, and are committed in terms of building this new industry, not just making a profit on the short term. On top of that, we recently released Leonardo DiCaprio's investment in Aleph Farms, which is maybe
that's what I was getting at. You know that.
Yeah, but in terms of an investor, it is a small investor, so I wanted to give the credit to the ones who, nonetheless, are maybe more significant in terms of investment. Yeah. What's important for us with Leonardo is really to put the focus not on him as an investor, but which is obviously also an endorsement and a validation of the the story behind the Aleph Funds and the potential contribution we can bring to the world. But beyond that, Leonardo DiCaprio has been involved for a couple of decades with climate change activities. He's been the special envoy of the UN for peace for climate change issues, and he's at the board of the WWF for preservation of wildlife and biodiversity. He has produced three documentaries on climate change, and he's actually not only investing in Aleph Funds, he's also joining our advisory board. And we believe that having him on our side will be a way to amplify the voice of Aleph Funds and the whole industry.
Amazing.
In terms of promoting cultivated meat as a solution to take care of climate change issues. By the way, he invested in two companies, Aleph Funds and Mosa Meat, at the same time, which is, in our view, is a good thing because it shows that first he audited all the companies in the space and chose just the two of us. But the fact that he invests in two companies and not just one is a vote of confidence, not only in Aleph as a company, but also in cultivated meat as a solution, as an industry, which we believe is a very strong statement from a person like Leonardo DiCaprio.
Right. Amazing. Let's not forget Champel Capital also.
Exactly. So we have, on top of those large investors I mentioned, a series of more focused or specialized investors, which each is bringing a specific angle and a network and expertise, which we value a lot. And it was important for us to expand our network with value add smaller players. And Champel Capital is one of those, which is in our views an excellent group with a visionary team and a very value driven vision, which is for us important. In principle, we put a lot of focus on vision and values when we pick our investors, and just because we don't want to deal with investors who just want to make money. Of course, they want to make money, and that's fine. It's part of the game. But we're looking for investors who can also bring some additional, value on the longer term.
All right. Okay. So we're a little over time here. So I'll just say that, first of all, it sounds like you're doing incredibly impactful work. If there's ever anything that I can do to help in any capacity on any front, let me know. And yeah, I'm looking forward to watching you change the world. It's amazing.
Thank you very much. And if you have any further questions, feel free to reach out to me or to reach out to us through our website and follow us on our social media.
I will. Thank you so much, Didier. I really appreciate your time, and I'm looking forward to meeting you over a cup of coffee soon.
Sure. Always welcome.
Right. Thank you. Thank you very much for your time. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.